So the last time I was working, I had this file here open, and I was working on the dodge and burn layer. I had opened it, created a hue saturation layer for color blending, then opened this second hue saturation layer, and that was for desaturating initially. And then I added this neutral gray layer, which has been the one that I've been working on the most because it really is the determinant for how the image looks when it's done. The dodging being holding back light, burning, bringing more light in. This is the digital darkroom piece. And remember, we're working in RGB, which is not grayscale. We're working in RGB, and we're doing a semblance of grayscale. We've got a fading, kind of a fading gradient here, which I'm going to call gradient horizon, because it was tailored to the way the horizon works and the way light falls from the horizon to the ground and vice versa back up. That was created. Also, the vignette layer was created to create the way natural light falls on the viewer's eye. So anyway, we're back working in this file. I've dodged and burned a little bit, and what I want to do now is do a little bit of replacement color here, because I've got some areas, if you scale it back, they're a little bit darker than the rest. I want to kind of tone them a little bit less, so I'm going to go in and replace a little bit of that color. That's under Enhance, Adjust Color, and I'm going to select the color that I want to replace and lighten it just a bit. I can bring more shadows back in after. I just want to get rid of the darkest darks because they're so singled out in here. As you can see, I've still got one shade shy of that color and one shade darker, but I just that overall color of kind of the dark grays or light black, whatever you want to call it, has kind of been taken out. I'm going to try to mingle in some darks on this side of the picture, so that's what I'm going to do now. Using the brush tool, not the dodge and burn tool, but the brush tool on the dodge and burn layer. I've got the white and the black. I can toggle that with the X key. Whether I want to dodge with the white or burn with the black, I can do that at the click of the X key to switch colors. My opacity, if I'm going to be burning, is going to be fairly high, because even though the layer itself is set to 46% opacity, and I probably should kick that up a bit to 76. It's still, these adjustments that I make, I want them to be fairly drastic. I want to really make some lines come out of this rock. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to spend about 5 minutes drawing some lines on these rocks. Then we're going to do some overall tones. Then we're going to check our overall levels, and then we're probably going to save it. And that's a step away from flattening it and turning it into a JPEG, which you will need to submit for printing. Areas like this that may have been changed with selective color, you can kind of go back in and pick a few of them, change them, make your brush a bit bigger, maybe go in and undertone some of these areas, kind of fade in some shadow, maybe add a little texture. If you go a bit darker than you need to, remember, you can always go back, or you can trash this whole layer and send it to the trash like that and start over again. I'm not going to do that today, but you may want to at some point while you're working. Or have two files open, have an original file and have a secondary file, and if you mess up and you have to drag it away, say maybe you like the settings you've got, that you like the way the opacities are in the new file, but you've got the old file because it's actually got your original dodge and burn. You've gotten to a certain point on the dodge and burn. Well, what you can do is just kind of drag that kind of elementary or that beginning dodge and burn layer in. If you decide to trash it in the one file, you can drag it in from the other. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to continue darkening some of these areas. I am going to highlight them in a minute. You'll see how that works. But I just need to right now concentrate on getting some of these areas a bit darker. I might need to. My opacity's kind of high for this. I think it needs to be lower. Because of the length of time that a camera takes a picture, it's less in tune with what the human eye sees. The human eye tends to see a variance of light falling on an object, and what the digital photographer, the digital artist can do is make the image look more natural and more like the human eye. And that's why we've done the vignetting. That's why we are doing this dodging and burning, to try to give shape and form to these colored or these tonal objects. There aren't just 10 or 12 or 15 or 30 different tones to the human eye. There's